Hey, what's up everybody? Toby here, and in today's Onshape step-by-step tutorial, we're going to create a very simple part. In fact, this part has a complexity level of tier 1, the lowest level of complexity that we offer. Now you may be asking yourself, why are we creating such a simple part in a step-by-step tutorial? And the answer is because a lot of the people who watch this channel and who use the Practice Models app are students or are just beginning their 3D CAD journey. So this will help make sure that they get started on the right foot and maybe show them some basic tips and tricks to help them save some time. And speaking of students, some of those students are actually getting together this week, January 10th, to compete in a head-to-head CAD vs. CAD speed modeling competition. So if those users are just learning CAD or just getting up to speed, well, this is going to definitely help them compete at a higher level. Now, if you're interested in watching the live streams of this tournament, we're going to be live streaming right here on this channel, and I'll include the links to those live streams down below in the description. But hopefully these tutorials will help these students as well and let all of us see a little bit more of an exciting competition. So let's get into it here. We're going to go to tootalltoby.com. We're going to say click here to get started with free practice models. And here we see a repository of over 120 2D to 3D CAD challenges for users working with any 3D CAD system. Now, there's about 20 challenges in here that are free for anyone. And then if you really like the app, you can choose to upgrade to the premium membership, and that'll unlock the entire library. Well, one of those free challenges is this one here, 250102. So I'm going to click here to practice. And then I'm going to, oh, look at this, 55 people have completed this challenge already. That is awesome. So let's see if we can become number 56. So I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom. I'm going to say click here to begin and go. So what is the mass of this part in XX grams? This is a phone stand, a little block of wood you can use to prop up your phone. And we're going to get into this challenge. And even though we're being timed here, I always think it's a good idea to kind of start out with a basic game plan. So in the case of this model, I think that we could probably make this in two features, an extrude and then a fillet on the corners. So if that's the case, I think our first sketch is going to be a sketch of a rectangle here, 20 millimeters by 80 millimeters. And then we're going to go in and add 3 lines here to create this little notch out, just using the line command. And once we've got that geometry in place, then what we could do is we could choose to extrude that geometry out to a depth of 60 millimeters. So this model here has a line of symmetry running right through here. I think it makes sense for the origin to maybe be back here along this edge, along that line of symmetry, and also for the origin to kind of be down here in the corner when we make our first sketch. Then we can take that sketch, we can extrude it out to a depth of 60 millimeters, symmetric, and then we'll add our fillet feature with a radius of 7 millimeters. Now, like I said, I know this is a timed challenge, but I just always think it's important before you jump into 3D CAD to kind of come up with a basic game plan. Now that we've got that game plan though, let's move this drawing over onto our second monitor. Let's bring up our mouse and our keyboard cam and our clock so you guys can see all the keyboard shortcuts that I'm using. And let's get into it here in Onshape. So I'm going to say create document. This document's going to be 25-01-02. And this is going to be called phone stand, a little mistype there, phone stand 1, enter. And now we are in Onshape. Let's jump into that game plan. So we'll go front plane. I'm going to press the S key on my keyboard, begin a new sketch. I love the S key. I'm going to press the N key on my keyboard to get normal 2. And then I'm going to press the S key again and launch the rectangle command. This is going to be a corner rectangle. I'll single click here on the origin. I'll move my mouse over this way. I'm going to single click again. So move your mouse kind of up and to the right or up and to the right. And then we're going to single click again. And then I'm going to let go of my mouse and I'm going to type in 80, enter, 20, enter. And that gives us that rectangular shape. And so now we can press the S key again and jump into the line command. Now, when you go to create this shape with the 3 lines, the one thing you want to avoid is picking up on midpoint. You don't want to pick up on midpoint. So just move over a little bit to the right here, single click, move your mouse down in this direction, single click. And here's what you want to get used to. If you're practicing sketching, get used to automatically adding in that perpendicular relationship. So you can single click here, move up this way. See how we're automatically getting that perpendicular relationship? The more practice you do and the more of these relationships you get on the fly, the more time you're going to be able to save. So we'll single click here, and now we're done with the line command, so we can press escape. Now we can press the S key again, and we can launch the dimension command. And for this dimension command, we're gonna say we want there to be a distance dimension here of 13 millimeters. If you don't get a distance, if you get an angle, then your lines are not perpendicular. You're gonna have to go back in and add that relationship, or really what I would do is just start over and try it again, just so you can keep practicing getting those relationships on the first pass. So we're gonna make that 13 millimeters, and then we're gonna say that there's gonna be an angle dimension. So from this edge here to this angled line here, that's gonna be an angle of 15 degrees, and then again from that line, but this time to the end point up top here, we're gonna say there's a distance dimension of 20. And now the final dimension that we're gonna add in here is just gonna be from the base to the bottom of that little slot, and that distance is gonna be 7. And there we go, that sketch is all black, all fully constrained. This is what your first sketch should look like if you're following along with as a tutorial. And now we can choose the S key, so S key. And here you can see what I've done with the S key is I've done a right mouse button and chose customize. So I actually added the extrude command right onto my S key here, so that once I've got my fully defined sketch, I can just press the S key, I can choose extrude, and there we go, there is our extrusion. Now, if we press the space bar on our keyboard, that will get rid of anything that is currently selected. And then we can take our mouse down here and just pick this region. So we only get that region, we don't get the full rectangle. And now we can come down here to where it says depth. We can type in a depth here of 60, enter, that updates the preview. We can press tab, 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 and then we can press the space bar to activate the symmetric option. And then we can just press enter, and that finishes off that extrusion. So I really like using that tab, tab, tab and the space bar to navigate that extrude box. So now let's choose to add our fillet. So we could do S key fillet. And then for the fillet radius, so you can click down here in this box, the fillet radius is gonna be 7, enter. And then here's a little trick I like to use in Onshape in a situation like this. If you go out to one of these edges and you do a right mouse button, you can choose select, and then you can choose parallel edges. And if we choose that select parallel edges, look at that, we get all 4 corners with one single pick. Now, if this notch had been a straight notch, it might not work as well because these lines would also be parallel, but because they're at an angle, we can use that select parallel and save some time and get all 4 corners. So we hit the green check mark, and there we go, that creates that shape. Now, sometimes what I like to do is change the color of my part. So down here at the bottom, I can right mouse button here and I can say edit appearance. And I can try to make this just a little bit more of like a wood color. I can maybe go in here to mixer and move this around a little bit. Just make it look a little bit more like what the customer's parts are gonna look like, so that when we see this in an assembly, we can recognize what it's supposed to be. And then finally, what we can do is right mouse button here on the name of the part, and we can choose assign material. And this material density is called out in the title block of 570 kilograms per cubic meter. The material is called red oak. So I've created a custom tootalltoby's materials library here in Onshape. And then I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna choose red oak from that library, which has that 570 kilograms per cubic meter, just like it's specified in the title block. So I'll choose that custom material, I'll hit the green check mark, and then down here in the corner, it's kind of behind the clock, but down here in the corner, we've got this option for mass properties. So I'll choose that option for mass properties, then I'll choose on this part, and we see we're coming up with a mass of 49. So let's go in here to the app, let's type in that mass of 49, enter, and oh yeah, congratulations, this answer is correct. We got it correct. Awesome job, everybody. And so I'm gonna choose submit, and there we go. We have become number 56 to complete this model. And the cool thing about the app is once you complete the model, you can go down here a little bit to the bottom, and we can see here that our time was 6 minutes and 50 seconds. 6 minutes and 50 seconds. The average time for this model is 4 minutes and 18 seconds, and the current fastest time is 1 minute and 14 seconds. Wow, that user was screaming through this model. So it's cool. You can do this model using any 3D CAD system. You can see here at the bottom, we've got a little preview of our top submissions. So SolidWorks, Onshape, SolidWorks. Let's see what else we got in here. Any Fusion users? No Fusion users in here yet. We'll see if we can get some Fusion users there in the top 10. But that is the gist of that challenge, that Tier 1 challenge. Let me know down in the comments if you learned anything from this tutorial. Of course, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, and be sure to come back and join us for more Too Tall Toby tutorial videos, and be sure to tune in this month for the first ever high school CAD vs. CAD speed modeling tournament. I'll see everybody in the next video.